Thank you all so much for being here today. This training was developed by Big Brothers Big Sisters to demonstrate our commitment to child safety. Big Brothers Big Sisters has an excellent safety record, and we are providing this training to parents and guardians in an effort to increase safety for all children, while they're participating in a local Big Brothers Big Sisters program and in their everyday lives. Today's training is broken up into 3 separate videos, followed by a short evaluation, all of which will take roughly an hour to complete. This training is only part of our commitment to child safety. At the time of your interview, your child will be provided a safety booklet. Children ages 5 through 11 will receive a You Have a Right to Feel Safe booklet, and teens will receive Healthy Relationships for Teens. Both of these booklets cover important rules and information to help your child stay safe in our programs and in life. Both booklets have information, questions, and activities that you can review with your teen or your child on how to stay safe and build healthy relationships. We really encourage that you review these booklets together and be able to answer any questions that your child may have. Being involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters will also provide you access to our learning platform called the Learning Exchange. In addition to this training, you can learn more about substance use awareness and prevention, bullying prevention, trauma-informed care, and other aspects of youth protection. Today's training will focus primarily on prevention of child sexual abuse, but the themes that we'll address today are important for overall safety as well. It was developed by national safety experts and is based on research on strategies likely to improve safety. This specific training was created because there are many resources available to families in other aspects of youth protection, but there was an education gap around protecting children from sexual abuse and creating healthy relationships. We are doing our part to help protect the children and youth in our communities. It's important to remember that while sexual abuse is a difficult subject to talk about, the good news is that there are things that you can do to help reduce the chances of it happening. Because this can be a difficult topic to talk about, we know there are some people that may find parts of this material upsetting or difficult to watch. In any given group, we know there is likely at least one person, maybe many people, that have been indirectly or directly affected by sexual abuse or assault. It's important to check in with yourself throughout the training and do what you can to take care of yourself. This may mean that you need to take a break and come back later, or pause the video to take a few deep breaths. Whatever feels helpful to you in that moment is completely okay. Before we close today, you'll be provided with contact information for a staff person that you can reach out to following the training. Let's watch a video that outlines what we'll be discussing today.
All children deserve to live in a world that nurtures and protects them from harm. At Big Brothers Big Sisters, we're working hard to support families who are exposed to the violence and victimization we see in many of the communities we serve. Within Big Brothers Big Sisters programs, children are safest when parents and our staff work together. Parents are our eyes and ears when it comes to checking on how the child's match is going. We count on you to let us know if there are any problems. This works like an early warning system. You can let us know about concerns with your child's match that we need to address. Sadly, all types of youth-serving organizations, like sports, schools, recreation, and mentoring programs, face the reality that the children they serve may be hurt by the adults who are supposed to help protect them. Big Brothers Big Sisters has put in place important policies and procedures designed to help keep children safer while they're with their big. We're very proud of our safety record, but at the same time, we need your help to continue this success. This training is the first step in our partnership with you to work together to help protect your child in their everyday lives. In this training, you'll learn why personal boundaries are important and how they help keep children safe, facts about child sexual abuse, including how sexual abusers target their victims and how abuse affects children, signs of sexual abuse you should look for in your child, what to do if you think your child may have been abused, key rules to teach children and teens to help protect them from abuse, how to talk to your child about sexual abuse, and information about our policies and procedures that set rules for relationships between bigs and littles to increase child safety.
As you heard in the video, these are the topics we'll spend time reviewing today, and hope by the end of this session, you'll have a good idea of how these factors improve child safety. We are going to start off by exploring and defining personal boundaries. There are different types of boundaries, and this next video will talk about those differences, as well as the importance of personal boundaries for children and teens.
A boundary is something that marks or separates one person's or group's space from another. Personal boundaries are rules that we use to let others know what kind of things are okay and not okay to say or do to us, with us, or around us. We have different rules that make up our personal boundaries that are shaped by things like where we live and our cultural or family values. When we have clear personal boundary rules and use them the same way every time, we are more likely to feel safe. Adults get to pick their personal boundary rules and when to use them, but children are different. Young children have to count on involved parents and other adults to pick the right personal boundary rules for them. They need adults to teach them those rules and when to use them, and to help them practice using personal boundaries to keep them safe. And they're always learning from watching what you do. Children are taught to do what adults tell them, and some adults may use their influence to trick or force children to do things that harm them. Teenagers are different too. They need basic rules to help them make good decisions when they can't or won't ask adults for help. But often, they don't like their parents or adults telling them what to do, and may even argue about rules or go against them. They're also influenced by their friends, which can sometimes be helpful and at other times confusing. Teens need personal boundary rules that change based on their age. They face more difficult decisions about school, friends, their sexuality, and their behavior in general than they did when they were younger. They need rules that fit with these decisions, practice using the rules in real-world situations, and a plan for where to get help when things aren't going well. Teens are also learning to be independent. They need support and guidance to learn to do more and more things on their own. Keep in mind that a teen's brain is still developing, and their understanding of the world is different than an adult's. Like younger children, this can lead to misunderstandings, being tricked into doing things they shouldn't do, or finding themselves in situations they don't know how to handle. Having strong boundary rules helps protect children and teens when others try to violate their boundaries. A personal boundary violation is when someone goes against a person's rules about how they want to be treated. They can be physical, verbal, or sexual. Our emotions can give us clues about our own personal boundaries, what's okay and what's not okay. Physical violations involve unwanted touch. Verbal violations happen when someone says something you think is wrong or inappropriate. Sexual boundary violations involve unwanted sexual touch or statements and happen when you are sexually harassed, abused, or assaulted. They can happen when you're pressured to do sexual things before you're ready. People who violate sexual boundaries often look for easy targets like children who may not have accurate information about sex. In the next video, we'll talk about one kind of personal boundary violation, child sexual abuse.
Now we'll focus a bit more on the issue of child sexual abuse. First, we'll define what sexual abuse is so we're all on the same page. Sexual abuse is any sexual behavior that children do not fully understand, are not able to give consent to, or do not give consent to. It's important that child sexual abuse can happen even when no physical touch takes place. In this section, we will learn the difference between hands-on and hands-off sexual abuse. We use the word consent a lot when defining child sexual abuse, and that's another term that could use a clear definition before we move on. We use the definition of consent from Safe and Secure Kids, which says consent means giving someone a choice about touch and actions and respecting their answer. With children, you may often use the phrase asking for permission. Now let's take a look at the next video that explains these concepts a bit more.
Child sexual abuse is any sexual behavior that children do not fully understand, are not able to give consent to, or do not give consent to. This abuse is also against the law. The abuse can be between an adult and a child, a teen and a child, or between two children. It is also any sexual behavior that includes creating pictures or video of the sexual abuse or forces children to have sex for something of value, including money or drugs. Child sexual abuse can take place between two teens when the behavior is unwanted by one of the teens. It can also include situations when one teen is younger than the other. It includes situations when one teen uses force or threats to get the other to be a part of the sexual behavior, or when one teen is on drugs, drunk, or was drugged by someone else. This means they can't consent. It also includes situations when one teen has learning or developmental delays, which means they may not understand what is happening well enough to give consent, or they may understand things more like a younger child. Sexual abuse can be hands-on or hands-off. Hands-on child sexual abuse is when there is physical touch or physical contact between the abuser and the child. This could be the abuser kissing the child, touching the child, or getting the child to touch them. Hands-off child sexual abuse is when the abuser watches the child with some or all of their clothes off, like when they're in the shower or changing their clothes, takes pictures or video of the child with some or all of their clothes off, watches or takes pictures or videos of the child touching themselves sexually or doing something sexual with another child, teen, or adult, has the child watch pornography or watch the abuser touch themselves sexually, has the child send sexual pictures or videos of themselves to someone else. After watching this video, take a look at the examples provided. You'll notice that people who sexually abuse children can be adults and teens of all ages. In some cases, children are even sexually abused by other children. Most abusers know their victims. They may be family members, relatives, friends, teachers, coaches, babysitters, or others in charge or in a position of authority.
As you can see, there is a wide range of actions that can fall under the category of child sexual abuse. Next, we'll listen to a few examples to show what some of these situations could look like in real life.
Cindy is a 14-year-old girl who spends a lot of the time playing with the younger children in her neighborhood. No one knows, but she sometimes takes kids back into her garage and gives them candy or soda if they played the dare game. In this game, she dares them to touch her in sexual ways or let her touch them. Some of the kids think it's a little weird, but keep the secret because she gives them lots of attention and goodies. Steve is a new mentor to a 9-year-old boy who lives with his single mom and 3 siblings. Within the first month after being matched in a community-based program, Steve asked if he could take the 9-year-old and his siblings on a camping trip for the weekend to give their mom a break that she seemed to really need. He knew it was against the rules of the mentoring program, but wanted to be helpful. They agreed that just this once they'll break the rules. He shares a tent with the youngest sibling to let the older boys have their own tent. In the middle of the night, he touches the younger boy's penis. The boy is afraid he'll get in trouble if he tells, so he doesn't say anything. Marcia is 17 years old and often babysits for Zach, her 12-year-old neighbor. Usually they sit around and watch TV and play board games. A few months ago, Marcia started showing Zach pictures of half-naked people on her computer. Marcia laughed about it and tried to make it seem like no big deal. Then, Marcia began showing Zach fully naked people, and even some pornographic videos. Zach feels a little uncomfortable, but is excited by the idea that this older girl likes him in this way. He hopes that maybe he'll even get lucky, and something sexual will happen one of these times. Dave is a staff member at an after-school community program. Everyone loves him. He is great working with the younger children on their behavior problems. He's been doing it so long and so well that no one questions him when he doesn't follow the rules that are there to keep children safe. Sometimes he'll give younger girls a ride home if they're walking home alone. He will take children to the bathroom himself, and sometimes he's alone with children in different parts of the building, all against the rules. Dave works so hard and is so good to the kids in many ways that no one suspects that he's been touching children in sexual ways for years. Gloria is a 15-year-old high school freshman. She feels really lucky to be dating Jimmy, who is a popular senior at her school. Lately, Jimmy wants them to do more sexual things than Gloria is comfortable doing. But she also doesn't want to lose her chance to hang out with the popular kids. Last time that they were alone, Jimmy forced his hand down Gloria's pants and wanted to do more. Gloria was saved by a group of friends coming along, but she's afraid of what Jimmy may force her to do the next time they're alone.
Let's make a prediction. Take a minute to think about what percentage of sexual abuse victims that personally know their abuser. While many of us may have grown up thinking that most children are abused by strangers, research tells us that 90% of victims of child sexual abuse know the person that abused them. As you can imagine, this can be a reason why children are hesitant to tell about their abuse. This is the end of part 1 of our training videos. Go ahead and take a break, or you can go straight into the next section that will cover grooming, signs of sexual abuse, and how to react as a parent or guardian.